Hey everyone, welcome back to your AML channel. So, if you're in the financial world or really any business these days, you know anti-money laundering compliance isn't just a suggestion, it's a must. But what if the biggest threats to your entire system are the ones you're not even looking for? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on 8 hidden killers that can quietly, and I mean quietly, sabotage even the most solid AML compliance programs. Let's dive in and see what's really going on under the surface. So get this, a whopping 88% of organizations say a strong compliance culture is absolutely essential to their success. And you know what? They're right. But here's the kicker. A great culture on paper can get completely undermined by these silent threats that just creep into your day-to-day. And that is where the real danger is hiding. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We've actually grouped these 8 killers into 3 main themes to really get to the heart of the problem. First, we'll look at failures in communication. Then we'll cover breakdowns in your actual processes. And finally, we'll talk about the highly dangerous complacency trap. After all that, we'll wrap up with a solid plan to build your defense. Let's jump into our first group. This is all about how people, how we interact or don't interact, can create massive vulnerabilities. These killers absolutely thrive in places where trust is broken and transparency is, well, non-existent. First up, we've got killer number 1, silent reporting. This is a critical one. It's when your own team members see something that feels off but doesn't say anything. Maybe they're scared of getting in trouble, or maybe they just don't know how to report it. Whatever the reason, that silence is the perfect hiding spot for illegal activity to just fly right under the radar. And what's interesting is how simple the solutions are. I mean, if you see that your staff is hesitant or there's no clear way for them to report things, it is time to act. The key is to build trust, set up anonymous channels, do regular clear training. Don't let your team's silence become your biggest vulnerability. It's not worth the risk. That leads us to our second killer, ignoring employee feedback. Think about it. Your frontline team, the people handling the transactions day in and day out, they are your human firewall. They're the ones who are going to spot unusual patterns first. If you dismiss what they're saying, you're choosing to operate with a giant blind spot. So how can you tell if this is happening? Well, look for things like low morale, or that general feeling that nobody's listening. The fix is to create a real robust feedback loop. Listen, this isn't just about nodding your head. It's about systematically looking at what they're telling you. And this is the most important part, acting on it, and acting fast. The third killer in this communication group is decisions behind closed doors. You know, when those big compliance calls, especially the high-risk ones, are made with discretion. It opens the door for everything from favoritism to missed risks, or even worse, actual corruption. Transparency isn't just a nice policy to have. It's a fundamental defense mechanism. If you're seeing discretionary meetings or one person signing off on high-risk clients all by themselves, those are huge red flags. The solution is simple but really powerful controls. Document every single decision. Require a second or even third pair of eyes on it. Make sure your whole process has a crystal clear audit trail. No excuses. Okay, so that's communication. Now let's switch gears to our second group, breakdowns in the actual nuts and bolts processes and workflows. This is where a bad operational design or just poor people management can totally cripple your AML efforts. Killer number 4 is micromanagement. I know it might feel like tighter control equals more security, but in the world of AML, it's often the exact opposite. When managers are obsessing over every little detail, it can grind transaction monitoring to a screeching halt, creating delays in openings that, believe me, criminals are experts at finding and exploiting. If your monitoring reviews are taking forever and your compliance team looks like they're about to collapse from exhaustion, you might have a micromanagement problem. The goal here is to empower your team, not control them. Shift to automated tools when you can. Give your team clear rules and the authority to make calls and just constantly work to streamline those workflows. Our next killer is a structural one, and this visual really says it all. Too many managers, too few doers. When your team is super top heavy, you've got a bunch of overseers and not enough analysts in the trenches digging through data, where your whole defense gets weaker. You end up with a lot of meetings and not nearly enough investigation. Having tons of layers of approval is a classic sign of this. Your goal should be to restructure for balance. Make sure every single role is crystal clear and that the team is focused on pulling real, actionable insights from hands-on work, not just, as we know it, passing reports up the ladder. Now, for a killer that's all about being human, a lack of work-life balance. And look, this isn't just about employee wellness. It's a major security risk. A compliance officer who is overworked and burned out is way more likely to miss a critical detail or make a tiny error. And that one little mistake can be the difference between a clean report and a massive multi-million-dollar fine. High turnover rates and a sudden spike in human errors, those are your canaries in the coal mine. A strong AML defense absolutely requires a sharp, focused team, and that means you have to ensure fair workloads. You have to actively encourage breaks, and you should provide mental health resources. Your team's well-being is part of your compliance strategy. And this is related to our seventh killer, overloading your top performers. It's so tempting to just lean on your star players for everything, right? But doing that creates incredibly dangerous bottlenecks. If your best analyst goes on vacation, or worse, just burns out completely, your whole system could become vulnerable overnight. You can spot this when you see that you're relying on just one or two people for everything and the work is spread out unevenly. The solution is to build a deep, resilient team. You've got to implement cross-training so that knowledge gets shared and invest in scalable tech like AI to handle the routine stuff, which frees up your experts for the really tricky cases. Now, for our final category, and it only has one killer in it, but honestly, it might be the most insidious of them all. This one isn't about a broken process or a communication gap. It's a cultural mindset that can rot a compliance program from the inside out. And here it is, the "we're compliant" mentality. It's that dangerous feeling of comfort when a team starts thinking their system is just bulletproof. It creates what you might call a set it and forget it vibe. This is exactly where confidence slowly sours and turns into complacency. You'll see this pop up as outdated policies, missed regulatory updates, or a total lack of ongoing training. Look, in a world where the threats are changing every single day, complacency is basically a death sentence for your compliance program. The only antidote is to foster a mindset of constant growth, doing frequent audits, and just relentlessly staying on top of the changing laws. So after laying out all of these hidden killers, the big question is, how do you build your defense? Well, the answer is all about shifting your entire approach from being reactive to being proactive. It's about building a resilient culture from the ground up instead of just running around putting out fires after they've already started. So here's how your proactive defense plan in a nutshell works. First, you build trust with open, honest communication. Second, you empower your team and streamline your processes so they're both efficient and effective. And finally, you have to fight that dangerous complacency by creating a growth mindset and doing frequent proactive audits. These steps together are the holistic antidote to all 8 killers we've talked about today. By staying ahead of these hidden threats, you can turn your AML framework from just a box you have to check into a powerful, proactive shield. And that leaves us with one final thought to really ponder. What's the toughest compliance challenge you've personally ever faced? Thinking about that might just show you exactly where your biggest hidden risks are hiding right now. It means a lot to us that you like, share, and comment your feedback. If you haven't subscribed, join us by doing so. Thank you for watching. Until the next video.